Popular music is popular for a variety of reasons. Some of them contain a message that resonates with us inside the lyrics. Others have great beats that make us groove to the music. One reason that I would like to investigate today is energy. For some strange reason, music can be driving. We can be motivated by music to do something, whether that is through exerting our energy or through inspiring action. But why? Why can music be so energizing? Let's find out what drives us in music with one of my recent favorites, Dirty Deeds Done Cheap by AC/DC. The structure of the song looks like this. There's a verse, a pre-chorus, two different types of choruses, a bridge, and an intro. Simple, yes? The harmony inside of these sections? Not so much. Most of the chords in Dirty Deeds Done Cheap are not diatonic. They are the opposite, chromatic. They're so chromatic that not even Roman numerals want to touch them. We're only going to be able to analyze them by using letter names on the chords. One example, out of many, is the intro. We start off on an E major chord. In the intro, it's like a pedal, always returning to this chord after moving to a new one. Our chords that come after each E chord instance are strange. The chord we get after the first is a G natural open fifth. The third is missing, and the G has an accident. The other two chords are also open fifths, and the last chord, a D natural open fifth, also has an accident. Except for the A open fifth in the middle, two chords don't belong in E major. Fortunately, since they're so short, we can mark the whole section as a tonic function, a tonic phrase, with accidents prolonging it. There are a lot fewer chords in the verse section compared to the intro, but just like the intro, we have something new against the diatonic scale. The lyrics follow along the E major chord for 6 beats, but a D major chord shows up right after it on the end of beat 3. Take a listen to this chromatic chord and see what I'm talking about.
If you're having trouble with the high school head, he's giving you the blues. You wanna graduate but not this bed, is what you gotta do. Pick up the phone, I'm always home.
The same chord pattern from the verse is also happening in the pre-chorus, however, at a more frequent rate. It ends with a static E major and a drum fill from this drum set. But let's stop for a moment and think about these last 3 sections for a minute. All of them featured atypical chordal movements. The tonic function in all of these was extended, and they were all embellished with open fifths. Why? Why is that the case? Why were the setup to the chorus built in such an unusual manner? What does that mean for energy in music? One way we can deduce it is by arguing that they're shaking the tonic model. Diatonic chords like a 7 or 5/6 could have substituted these open fifths, but they wouldn't create the same amount of dissonance. Dissonance often disrupts what we predict where the music goes. The diatonic chords before could work, but it's samey. It's within a safe zone that has been modeled out by music theorists centuries ago. It's not adventurous, it's normal. Sometimes normal isn't exciting. Perhaps that's why these open fifth and non-diatonic chords are so exciting. No conventionalist could ever predict a G natural in an E major. It's not serving as a median or an applied chord to an E major. It's just sticking out there like a sore thumb. It's jutting out. It's radical. It's new. Recall in the previous sections how everything stood out on the single chord phrase. In the chorus, we have 2 general chord phrases instead. We start with an A open fifth chord, and a G major briefly follows it before reverting to the subdominant chord. The starting A open fifth marks the 4-chord sensation. As we move to the second pair of lines, the same pattern happens in E major. It moves to D major for the same duration before coming back. The A open fifth may not be complete, but it sounds similar to a 4-chord. It moves to the 1 chord dictated by the E major.
Dirty deeds, got the cheek. Dirty deeds, got the cheek. Dirty deeds, got
In summary, this chorus is a move from a 4 to a 1. So far, our song has been relatively simple. We have a prolongation of the tonic function, and the chorus moves between the 4 and 1. On paper, the lack of varying harmonies may seem like a bland song. However, we have these chromatic chords to thank for our energy. Without the open fists, this rock and roll would fail. We continue this song with another verse, pre-chorus, and chorus. But everything changes once we hit the guitar solo. Our guitarist goes wild. They pull off crazy riffs, and the melodies charge us like a bull let loose into an arena. To top it all off, we have a chord never used before in this song to support this new section, a 5 chord. After rampaging for 8 measures, we fall to a 1 chord that extends for 8 more measures. This progression is routine and conventional, but inside of this general second analysis is something exciting. The harmony movement looks precisely the same as the intro. We have never called back to previous material before in this song. Now, listen to this for a moment. This part is a bridge section of the song. See if there's anything familiar about it regarding what we've heard before.
Concrete tubes, cyanide, TNT, diamond cheap, neckties, contracts, high voltage, diamond cheap.
Do you hear it? What we have is a combination of the intro and the first chorus section. We start with the same series of syncopated open fifths in the guitar. Instead of a third open fifth in the sequence, we get the same D major interruption from the chorus. It's 2 sets of familiar material mashed together to propel new life into this music. This new life spawns more energy. And look what we have here in the final section of this song. It's the chorus, but new. It's the same new material from the bridge perpetuated. Listen to how similar it is to the bridge. With the continued use of non-diatonic chords between the E major chords, the driving energy sustains throughout the rest of the song. If it isn't clear that this rock and roll is supposed to be energetic, at least there's a final yell to scream it in your face. This song is dirty. We're not using normal chord progressions. Instead, the rock and roll hosts unconventional techniques to move this song forward. But these chord progressions are only a part of the battle. What also makes this song a headbanger is instrumentation. Is there a drum set? Hell yeah. Is there an electric guitar? Hell yeah. Is there a rock singer? Hell yeah! These 3 primary instruments are the bread and butter of a rock and roll song. It's supposed to be a headbanger. It's supposed to be thrilling. Rock and roll without all of these 3 main components is not rock and roll. We're not done just yet. There may be strange harmonies, and our instruments are a banger, but we've only discussed the muscles and the bones of this song's anatomy. What we're missing in this body is the blood, the primary life force. We have yet to cover the bloodline of this rock and roll. What we need to talk about at last is rhythm. The main culprit in this realm of rhythm is syncopation. You already saw this from the examples provided on screen, but I'll highlight them again. Syncopation looks like this. It is a beat across a downbeat. Typically, this can make some sound offbeat. I'll play this section again, but this time, hone in on this syncopated rhythm. The syncopation also happens in almost every section of the song, the intro, the verse, and the pre-chorus. The first chorus also contains syncopation, but unlike the others, it is less frequent. After the first syncopation, the open fifth chords happen on the downbeats. It is a mix between the 2. But why? Why is the chorus a mix of both downbeats and syncopation? This isn't the first time we called out the chorus like this. Recall how we've assumed its chorus progressions to be simple as well because of its 4-to-1 motion? In summary, this chorus is a move from a 4 to a 1. So far, our song has been relatively simple. On paper, the lack of varying harmonies may seem like a bland song. However, we have these chromatic chords to thank for our energy. Without the open fist, this rock and roll would fail. It will be too easy to shrug this off as a coincidence. The chorus has a simple progression and rhythmic texture. So why is it simple? Fortunately for us, our answer comes from the lyrics of the song. The verse and the pre-chorus are telling a story. What that story is irrelevant to my topic. I need you to understand that it's telling a story. Now, let's go over the chorus lyrics. Allow me to recite it for you for a moment. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Dirty deeds and they're done dirt cheap. Dirty deeds and they're done dirt cheap. It doesn't sound like a story. It sounds like a chant. The exact words repeated over and over again. This chant is happening in conjunction with simple chord progressions and downbeat rhythm. Together, they imply that the chorus has a single idea in mind. They're trying to tell us dirty deeds done dirt cheap. They're telling it to us straight and clear. This could be why the chorus is so simplistic. We recognize that the other aspects of the song are thrilling because of their syncopation, new material, and frequent open chords. In comparison, the first chorus is essential. What does that mean for energy in music? We can make sense of it if we use an analogy and a little bit of physics to help us out. A roller coaster will be an excellent analogy for this case. Now, let's put the standard segments of the song into our picture: the intro, verse, pre-chorus, and chorus. If the apex of the roller coaster is supposed to be the moment where the hype is significant, then it will be appropriate to place the chorus right before the slope starts to move down. In that case, everything else goes before the chorus in accordance to chronology. We know in physics that when a ride is climbing the ascent to the climax, energy, called potential energy, is building. As soon as the ride starts to tip over and fall off the other side of the ascent, that energy becomes moving energy, kinetic energy. With that said, it seems that this picture is telling us that everything before the chorus is building an energy. When the chorus arrives, it is the release of that built-up energy. Now, how is that idea supported through this song? The answer? We already know it. The sections before the chord were already practicing the building of energy. Allow me to play back what I said before we talked about the chorus harmony. It's within a safe zone that has been modeled out by music theorists centuries ago. It's not adventurous, it's normal. Sometimes, normal isn't exciting. Perhaps that's why these open fifth and non-diatonic chords are so exciting. No conventionalist could ever predict a G natural in an E major. It's not serving as a mediant or an applied chord to an E major. It's just sticking out there like a sore thumb. It's jutting out. It's radical. It's new. I argue that its strange open fifth chords were why they felt invigorating. Because they are strange. Because they are strange, they are creating energy. Energy with the potential to grow until a climactic tipping point. That tipping point is a chorus. And it is so because it has several elements that the previous chorus did not. First, it is repeating the same lyrical material throughout. Second, it is moving from a 4 chord to a 1 chord. Finally, it is not syncopating its rhythm. The chorus is a moment where all of the pent-up energy from the intro, the verse, and the pre-chorus are finally released. The song has finally finished ascending the roller coaster, and now it must storm downwards into the loops and twists of its journey. This song is energetic because of its lyrics, instrumentation, chordal progressions, and unique rhythm. For many energetic songs, these elements are what can make popular music knock off people's socks. It is the soul of rock and roll. Yet, if you are still not convinced, then there is one other option we can look. What if I can show you proof that this song is energetic?
Gracias!